George of the Jungle was released in 1997 and was directed by Sam Weisman and based off the characters by Jay Ward and stars Brendan Fraser, Leslie Mann, and Thomas Haden Church, and follows George of the Jungle as he protects and falls in love with the woman Ursula as he protects her from her evil boyfriend, Lyle. Guys, with Brendan Fraser finally getting back into the public eye with the new Scorsese movie that's coming out and just all the things that have been coming out about him lately and the huge fan support that he's been getting, I thought now would be the perfect time to talk about one of my personal favorite Brendan Fraser movies. This is a film that I watched a lot as a kid. I would watch this constantly, up there with how many times I would watch Toy Story or Pinocchio or Bambi. It was just one of those movies I constantly put on and watched over and over, wore the VHS out, and I'm not lying when I say this is maybe my favorite Brendan Fraser performance. And that is not a slight on Brendan Fraser at all. I love the guy so much, but this performance in particular is so much fun, so lighthearted, and extremely enjoyable. And I was surprised all these years later to find out that this film, for the most part, really does hold up. Now, I hadn't seen this movie since I was really little, like maybe 5 or 6 or even 7 years old, and then last year it finally came on Disney Plus, and I rewatched it, and I was surprised by how much I really enjoyed this film, and so I thought, why not rewatch it now, since Brendan Fraser is back in the news and everything. And again, I was really surprised at how well this movie holds up. It is a self-aware comedy that knows how silly it is, and it rolls with that throughout the entire runtime. It doesn't try to take itself too seriously. It knows that it is a cartoon put to live action, and just the way that it rolls with it is extremely endearing. Everything is over the top. It doesn't make logical sense, but that's perfectly fine. And I think that the performances in this entire movie really sell this story and sell this world. I love the whole idea of this narrator that is telling the story, and he will even change parts of the story to make them less violent or just completely take out things, and, he will talk about how absurd some of the story beats are, and it's a lot of fun. There's moments where characters will interact with the narrator and argue with him, and it's just a blast from beginning to end. But really, the heart and soul of the film is Brendan Fraser as George of the Jungle, who, as I said, gives a really fantastic performance. He is so fun and lighthearted and silly, and he's just like a child that is swinging around on vines, and it's just a whole lot of fun. George of the Jungle doesn't really have that many lines, or he repeats a lot of stuff, but he always says it with such charisma, and it's really, really good. But also, you can't talk about the film without talking about Thomas Haden Church, which is the second best thing in this movie other than Brendan Fraser. Thomas Haden Church as Lyle, the villain of the story, is so evil and over the top, and every line, every delivery is filled with so much humor. It is so funny, especially when he gets in arguments with these people that don't speak the same language, but they can understand him, but they can't speak English, and they're constantly talking about how much of an idiot he is, and it's just really, really funny. Also, John Cleese as the ape in this film is a whole lot of fun. He always has something really witty to say, and also the mouth movements with that ape in particular, put to John Cleese's, voice, actually works really, really well, and I was really surprised by that. I thought that wouldn't hold up, but it really did. George of the Jungle is a absurdist comedy. It knows exactly what it's trying to be, and it doesn't try to be anything more than what it is. It's a silly concept brought to live action, and the fact that they just roll with it is very admirable. I pretty much laughed throughout this entire movie. Even the crudest of jokes, even the worst of jokes, sometimes got a real chuckle out of me, or, at least, a smile on my face. Even when some of the jokes are really, really dumb. Some of them are so funny, but some of them can be, let's just face it, pretty bad. And there's some jokes throughout the film that I didn't find funny at all. I don't find fart jokes very funny. The fart jokes in this are not funny at all. I was also really pleased by the structure of this film because it is a very tight story. This movie is only about 90 minutes and it just flies by. The first half taking place in the jungles of Africa with George and him learning about Ursula and falling in love with her. And then the second half is him in the human world, going around the city, walking around, having just mischief all around, and then eventually the climax, which is a lot of fun. It's like a whitewater rafting finale, which is always really cool. I always really enjoyed that finale as a kid. But yes, I think George of the Jungle has a ton of heart, a ton of humor, some great performances from some really dedicated actors that definitely know how silly this story is and how silly this movie is. But the way the director directed their actors to, really take this story seriously, but also, have fun with it is very admirable. I think if they had gone a more serious route or a more sincere route, I think this film wouldn't have been as endearing. Guys, I really, really enjoy this movie, but I don't want to oversell it as this grand masterpiece or this great movie. It is a rather silly film. Some of the jokes do not land. If you're not into this type of self-awareness, this might not be for you, but the charisma with the actors and the lighthearted tone and also the nostalgia I have for this movie really keep it entertaining and make it one of the most rewatchable movies I think I've ever seen because, I want to continue watching this on a regular basis if I can. It's that enjoyable and that fun. It's a tight script and it's a blast. So anyway, guys, with all that said, I'm going to give George of the Jungle a 7 out of 10. Well, guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And stay positive.